crazy character journey for her and for all the other characters, and I absolutely wanted to dive into.
Oh, buckle up, because the drama that went down at 30,000 feet just shook the very core of Hollywood. And no, this wasn't some chaotic press conference or drunken backstage fight. This betrayal took flight, literally. It all started in April 2025, somewhere in the clouds over the Atlantic Ocean. Sweeney had just wrapped filming with none other than Ryan Reynolds. Billy Reynolds, here, go that run. They'd been paired in a Netflix gamble called Glass Chapel, a moody, artsy black and white film dripping with Oscar desperation. Think no soundtrack, just tortured whispers and unresolved grief. Ryan was the broken widower, Sydney the enigmatic stranger. It was all going perfectly until it wasn't. 2 hours into the flight back from Paris, after the glowing panel, after the standing ovation, after the clinking of champagne flutes in first class, Sydney heard it. She wasn't snooping, but on private studio jet, secrets echoed. Ryan was a couple seats ahead, deep in a hush convo with his producer. But what came out of his mouth, oh honey, it detonated a silent bomb. Yes, she's not a wife. She's a walking contract. The producer laughed. You married the brand. Ryan leaned back, exasperated. You don't know what it's like. The image, the control, the fake perfect. You spend your life pretending people are in love with the version of you she approved, and then she's Blake Lively. Of course she wins. Because this wasn't banter. It was a man cracking under a PR marriage, and she heard it every last word. She didn't tell a soul, didn't text her team, didn't whisper it to her glam squad, but baby, someone else found out. And when she landed in New York, the chill hit immediately. The energy shifted, cold, silent, dangerous. Phone calls stopped. Press invites dried up. The Apple TV Plus gig her agent had just locked. Poof, gone. No cancellation email, no reschedule, just gone. Sydney brushed it off at first. Scheduling mix-up? Maybe. But then she got a call, and it wasn't from her manager. It was a director she'd worked with years ago. Trusted? Low-key, old school. Hey, he said gently. I wanted you to hear this from me. He'd been in a casting meeting for a prestige limited series. Sydney's name came up. But then, dead silence. Someone said she had a conflict flag. Sydney was like, what does that mean? The director paused. It's unofficial, but it's personal. They flagged you for high discretion risk. Something about private conduct. Boom. She knew instantly. The flight, the words. Someone knew she heard Ryan vent, and someone made damn sure she'd pay for it. No letter, no warning, just a black mark next to her name. Still, Sydney stayed quiet. Not a single interview, no subtweets. But one day, she liked one tweet, and that was all it took.
And just a reminder, every deleted tweet, fake statement, and PR cover-up takes hours to piece together. If you want to help this channel keep going, hit that join button and become a member. We'll keep exposing what they won't.
Then came the slow ghosting. A stylist she loved stopped calling back. Dior rescheduled a locked campaign. And an old co-star left her on read for 2 whole weeks. Then came the brunch. Just a casual invite from a casting assistant she used to DM when she was still taping auditions in her bedroom. They met up at a tiny cafe in Studio City. The second she sat down, the assistant whispered, "You pissed someone off, someone big." Sydney blinked. What? They think you leaked something from a flight. And that's when it all clicked. If Blake Lively wanted you erased, she wouldn't call TMZ. She'd start a whisper campaign. Sydney's name began vanishing. Late night host had already taped with her. Episode never aired. Official reason, technical issues. But a crew intern spilled on TikTok, "We don't need Blake's enemies on this couch." Her agency panicking. No one dared use the word blacklist, but she wasn't being called. And in Hollywood, silence isn't peace, it's punishment. Then came the email. No subject line. Anonymous sender. Inside, a private casting memo. A PDF that read, Sydney Sweeney has been deemed a high-risk booking due to off-camera instability and unresolved discretion issues. Ooh, they were getting bold now. April 19th, Glass Chapel premiere. Sydney had the dress ready, custom, archival, shoulder pads, and old Hollywood glam with Gen Z edge per moment. Then the studio car pulled up and the driver handed her an envelope. Inside, a guest pass. Not a red carpet pass, not press. A private wristband. No walk, no interviews, just vibes. She called her manager. He called the studio. They gave the usual PR babble. Last minute reshuffle, Ryan wants solo shots, tight press flow. Translation, she'd been iced. So Sydney didn't go. The next day, photos dropped. Ryan solo, grinning in Armani, center stage. The captions? Ryan Reynolds shines at global premiere. Sydney, not even mentioned. not tagged, not seen. Even her glam team was shocked. One of her assistants posted and quickly deleted, "Imagine spending 4 hours on a look no one sees. I'd cry." But Sydney didn't cry. She stayed home, uninvited, from the film she co-leaded. Then a leaked guest list surfaced. Her name? Deleted. Fans noticed fast. One tweet went viral. Wait, wasn't Sydney the lead? Where TF is she? The next morning, she was trending, not for her acting, not for her outfit, but for being erased. Then came the dagger. Blake Lively posted a photo not from the premiere, not with Ryan, but a high-res airbrushed pic of the two of them spliced from separate shoots. Caption, "Proud of this man, always telling stories that matter." Oh, and the most insulting? Sydney Sweeney steps back for mental clarity, sources say. Excuse me? She never said anything. But now the narrative was flipped. They made it look like she bowed out. Classic Hollywood move. Make the woman you're silencing look like she just needed a break. Suddenly she was unstable, over-emotional, couldn't handle the press, and then a blind item dropped on Doomwiz. This blue-arm breakout star just learned why you don't cross a PR queen. One overheard convo and now out of the inner circle. Hope that skincare brand's hiring. Didn't name her. Didn't need to. April 22nd. Her agency stopped calling her directly. Netflix came through assistants now, and the language? Chilling. We're letting the dust settle. Great standing with Netflix. Just a pause. Then, a calendar invite. No subject, April 23rd, 2 p.m., Zoom. When Sydney joined, there were 4 faces waiting. Her agent, a Netflix rep, a lawyer, and a new woman from PR. This is a mutual brief to protect all parties, the PR woman began. The studio respects your work. We're just moving forward with a different structure. Translation? You're out. Then they slid over a resolution package. One-time payout, creative contribution credit, 18-month gag order, just sign and smile. Sydney sat in silence, then finally said, "Did Blake send this?" The PR woman smiled, said nothing. Sydney, "I'm not signing it." Click. She closed the laptop. 2 hours later, Netflix formally removed her from all marketing for Glass Chapel. Erased, but the bombshell was still ticking. Within hours of Sydney refusing to sign that shady NDA, Twitter exploded. A gossip account tweeted, "Heard a certain actress declined a peace clause this week. Not a great look when all you had to do was sign and smile." I guess the ego really is that big. Ooh. And under that tweet, a verified reply from Blake Lively's stylist, just 3 letters, lol, deleted 10 minutes later, but not before screenshots went everywhere. This wasn't a scandal anymore. It was a blood sport. Sydney didn't post, didn't leak, didn't even throw shade. She just stayed silent. And y'all, that's what made Hollywood panic. Because silence, that's power. A few days later, a blurry iPhone pic landed on Reddit. 2 women, one was clearly Sydney, no makeup, shades on indoors, sitting across with Reese Withers. The caption was chaos. Pretty sure Sydney Sweeney just had lunch with Reese Witherspoon. Holy Twitter went nuclear. People remembered everything. How Reese had once played the quiet PR war game herself. How she'd also had silent drama with Blake. And now she's having brunch with Blake's latest disappearances. Girl, what is going on? Press outlets ignored the photo. But the rumor accounts? Oh, they were foaming. Within 24 hours, 3 different sources claimed the same thing. Reese was developing a limited series for Apple TV Plus, quiet female lead, indie tone. And she was talking to Sydney. No confirmation, no contracts, just whispers. And y'all, sometimes whispers scream louder than a press release. Blake's team stayed silent. But 2 days later, Blake posted a cryptic story. A wine glass. A sunset. No caption. Just a reposted quote card. Some people chase truth, others sell it. Ooh, so now we're subtweeting with quotes? Okay. Meanwhile, Sydney still didn't say a word. No clapback, no sources close to her, just a quiet move. She took the meeting. Because when Reese Witherspoon invites you to lunch in the middle of a PR apocalypse, you don't ask why. You show up. You let her write your comeback. Then came the fan edits. Someone posted a side-by-side. One photo, Ryan Reynolds alone in a long coat in a Glass Chapel promo still. Next photo, the original, with Sydney walking beside him. The caption? Look closer. She was there. No, they just cut her out. It hit 50,000 retweets in 12 hours. No taglines, no campaign, just people realizing the woman they'd erased was actually the entire heart of the damn movie. Fan cams, mood boards, slow zooms on her eyes with piano music. TikToks with captions like, "You know a woman is dangerous when she doesn't say anything back." A new hashtag emerged, not a trend, a movement. She didn't sign it. Was subtle, but the industry felt it. Stylists started reposting her older looks. Brand interns began liking her edits, not calling out Blake, just tagging Sydney again. And in this town, that's blood in the water. Then came Zendaya. During a totally unrelated interview, someone asked, "It's because you know what she could say." Boom, it wasn't about Sydney. But everyone knew, and so did Blake's team, because not long after, her PR firm began soft pitching a redemption narrative. Blake is entering a new chapter. No more drama, just art. But no one bit. The press had moved on, and they weren't chasing Blake anymore. That night, she posted a white quote card on a black background. "You cannot control what others believe, only your peace." 88,000 likes, 60 comments. Both saying the same thing. She didn't sign. April 29th, Glass Chapel slipped out of Netflix's top 10. No follow-up waves, no second push, no viral moments unless you counted the fan edits of the girl who got cut out. An exec from the distribution studio rang him up. "We're getting calls from international partners. They're asking why she's not on the circuit. Metrics are dipping in markets where she tested strongest. We've got a perception issue. It's getting sticky." Ryan stayed quiet, but the exec didn't stop. "Maybe you should have kept your mouth shut on that flight." Ouch. He didn't reply, but that call, it got leaked. A low-level assistant on the Zoom transcribed the entire exchange and dropped it to a freelance journal 2 days later. Just a few lines, but nuclear. Reddit lit up. Reaction TikToks exploded with captions like, "Ryan got shook by silence. I'm living." Then came the photo. Someone on the set of Ryan's new movie posted a blurry snap, him on the phone, pacing like a madman. The caption, "Never seen him this mad or this quiet." Then bam, an exclusive hit the trades. 2 back-end investors quietly pulled their money from Ryan's next project. Unrelated to Glass Chapel, insiders claimed. Sure, unrelated. But everyone knew Hollywood isn't about facts, it's about timing. And this timing was screaming. Ryan, silent, no post, no premiere throwbacks, not even a cheeky story. A fan account tagged him, "Where'd you go, King?" No reply, but guess who liked the comment? Blake. Yep, she said everything without saying anything. But the real kicker? Blake was gearing up for her own redemption play, a glowy interview with a legacy journalist. Soft lighting, pre-cleared questions. Headline already written. Blake lively on motherhood, career, and learning to let go. Scheduled for April 30th. Call time 2:30 p.m. Location locked. Hair trials done. Look ready, but then nothing. 3:05 p.m. Her team quietly told the crew she's not coming, no reschedule, no comment, just moving forward in silence. Except it wasn't silence, it was collapse. Because what Blake didn't know, the interview had already been drafted. The story was done. The backstory, the tone, all of it. And when Blake bailed, the journal published anyway. No name drops. But the entire article was a mirror and Blake had no comeback. Meanwhile, Sydney back on set. And the plot? A woman rebuilding after an invisible war. Sydney didn't tweet about it, didn't post BTS pics. She just worked. That night, another tweet blew up. Not from a fan, not from media, from a mid-tier actress. Quiet but respected. Just found out the girl who got blacklisted didn't even speak. She just listened, and they still panicked. And the final nail? She didn't win with a quote. She didn't win with a rant or a mic drop. She won by doing nothing. A canceled red carpet, a viral hashtag, a buried interview, and an entire industry suddenly realizing the woman they tried to silence didn't need to speak. Because silence was louder than all of them.